Hey guys, Coach Ben here, bigbenchas.com. Today I want to talk about the use of bands in your training. All right, why we use bands. First off, let me delve into that, because accommodating resistance allows us to display our power and train our power development much better than straight weight. The science behind that is, because you go through a period of deceleration with straight weight, we have to think about it. If we're squatting, right, or benching, and we're blasting through that weight, and we never slow down at any point, that bar will literally fly out of our hands or off our back. Okay, so at some point in the bench press, there is going to be a phase of deceleration. So right here, when we know that lift's complete, in order to slow ourselves down, to keep that bar from just flying out of our hands, there is a period where you're slowing down, believe it or not. Okay, what the bands do is, now that we put the bands on, it's adding resistance as we go through that range of motion. So now, instead of having to slow down a little bit and decelerate, it allows us to, we have to continue to push through with maximal power to get that lockout, because we're adding more weight to the bar as we go. So it's a very efficient tool to help assist in power development. Speed work, you see this stuff all the time. What it's also good for, overloading the top end of the movement. Okay, so if you have that sticking point mid-range, or you're just not good in the top half, or you want to overload a little bit more, we can use bands. So the bands that we have here that you'll typically see used in training, we have a micro mini band. This is all available on Elite FTS. They have band sales all the time. Micro mini band, all right, very, very thin. We'll normally have to really double loop this guy. You have a mini band, this red one here, that is a mini band, often used in accessory work, stuff like that, but we can wrap it around these as well. We have a monster mini band, more tension here too in this monster mini, and then we have a light band, all right, a lot more tension here. How we are going to rig these things up, so if we're doing these movements, right, if you have a bench with band pegs, we can be very efficient how we loop them around these band pegs. Okay, if you don't have band pegs, I find the best way to do it is use a very heavy dumbbell, but it needs to be a heavy enough dumbbell that it weighs them down. So you can see, say I want to work with a mini band for the day. One way, now this would probably work better with a light band or something a little heavier to add tension, as we can loop them around both sides here, all right, and apply it to the bar. Okay, that's not going to give us a ton of tension how it's looped up here, but it's going to add a little bit at the top. We also want tension as we're down in the bottom, but you can see if we brought this down, we lose tension. This is what we do not want to happen, all right, because we're going to press through, we're going to catch it right here, we're going to catch all that band. All right, it's not going to load onto the bar very smooth. So we still want tension in the bottom. That's really important when rigging these things up. So this wouldn't work well. Okay, what does work well with this is if we loop it around this back one. All right, we loop it around the bottom, and then we come back around, keeping tension all around. This gives us a little more tension. Okay, and that's going to still hold in the bottom. All right, we get down there, we still have tension on this band. All right, so we press up, it's loading into it. All right, so that's going to give us a good amount of tension. That's probably fine for benching. Now, as you go up higher in weight, so if you're a 400-something pound bencher, you're probably not going to use a mini band. All right, if you're a 200-pound bencher, this might be perfectly suitable. But with the thicker bands, we're adding more tension. So if you're a 400-pound bencher, maybe you do something with this monster mini. You wrap it up in the same fashion. All right, there's a lot of ways to loop them too. If I want a lot of tension, I could take this monster mini band, and I could do something like this. And I could put it around, all right? That's going to give us a lot of tension there, all right? You could do that with the mini band as well. But there's a lot of ways you can play around with these pegs in order to set that up. You can do the exact same thing that I did here with heavy dumbbells. All right, you can wrap it around the same fashion. The dumbbells replace the pegs. Okay, And if I didn't have these pegs or I didn't have dumbbells, what I could also do as well is I could actually lift this unit up, and I could put the band around the base. So it would look something like this. All right, something of that capacity. Okay, if I don't have dumbbells and I don't have band pegs. Something else I can do, if you have these available, and this is how I've been setting my bands up, okay, is with the use of these Pro Short minis, okay. These are Pro Short Monster mini bands. So it's the same thing here, but in the short version. All right, so just gonna have more stretch to them. What I've been doing lately, and it's a decent amount of tension, is I'll just simply do one band peg, and I'll loop this thing around. Okay, and they have all these bands in the short version as well. Okay, and again, great for bench, great for deadlift, great for squat. To touch on deadlifts quick too, since we're going over bands, you'd want to space them out. Okay, so if you don't have a rig up where you have a peg here that goes over the end of the bar, all right, then you're gonna put dumbbells there, and sometimes they'll roll in on you too because of that tension. So sometimes you have to put dumbbells in front of the dumbbells to even set that up. So it gets a little hectic, but those are some of the ways you do it. The big principles of the matter, guys, is you want enough band tension. All right, think 15 to 20% extra from your max in band tension. And then also we want tension in the bottom. So if your hook up here leaves these bands straggling in the bottom, there's no tension, that's a problem. We need to have tension in the bottom of the lift, whether it's our squat, our deadlift, our bench. We need to have tension throughout the duration of the lift. All right, so bands, great tool. Elite FTS has a sale all the time on bands. I encourage everyone to get them, add them into your training. They're a very effective tool, especially if you watch on YouTube too. Got close grip board press for the bench, right? Targeting those triceps, ending it right in that range of motion, and then that extra band tension off the board really makes you work for it with those triceps. So great exercise there. Coach Ben here. Get yourself some bands and meet me on a bench.